For decades, the screaming mummy has left experts baffled. Was this a man who died in agony? A victim of torture? Or was it something far more sinister? Today, we're peeling back the layers of this mystery to reveal what really happened over 3,000 years ago. And the truth might just surprise you. Welcome back to Mysteries Debunked. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and let us know which next story you want to hear. 1. The Discovery. So let's kick things off with how this mysterious mummy came to light. It was 1886, and Gaston Maspero, a renowned French Egyptologist, was busy doing what he did best, exploring ancient tombs in the Valley of the Kings. He came across an unnamed mummy, and right off the bat, something was different. This wasn't your typical serene, peaceful-looking mummy. Nope. This one had its mouth wide open in what appeared to be a scream, her body contorted, hands raised as if warding off something unseen. The archaeologists on the scene were stunned. Was this the face of a woman who died in agony? Or was there something even more sinister at play? 2. The initial theories. The sight of the screaming woman mummy sparked a wave of speculation. One of the earliest theories was that she had been buried alive. I know, right? Straight out of your worst nightmare. The idea was that she might have been a victim of some ancient Egyptian curse, sealed away in a tomb while still alive, desperately trying to escape as the air ran out. But here's the thing. Egyptians were meticulous about their burial practices, especially for someone who had been mummified. The chances of them accidentally, or even intentionally, burying someone alive were slim. So, if not that, then what? Others thought she might have been poisoned or suffered a violent death. Poisoning made sense. Perhaps she was a noblewoman caught up in palace intrigue, silenced by rivals. Or maybe she was a prisoner who met a tragic end. The violent death theory was equally compelling. Her body's twisted pose looked like she was trying to fight off an attacker. But the more archaeologists studied her, the more questions emerged. Why would someone who had been violently killed be mummified with such care? It didn't add up. 3. The historical context. To understand the screaming woman mummy, we need to dive into a bit of history. Ancient Egypt was a land of strict religious beliefs and social hierarchies. Death was not the end, but a transition to the afterlife, and the way you were buried determined your fate in the world beyond. This mummy, with her terrifying expression, seemed to defy all that. For centuries, Egyptians believed in the concept of Ma'at, a cosmic order that ensured balance in the universe. If you led a good life, your heart would be lighter than a feather, and you'd enter paradise. If not, well, you'd face some pretty grim consequences. The screaming woman mummy was clearly not a standard burial. Her posture suggested that something had gone horribly wrong. Was she cursed, or had she committed some grave offense that warranted such a disturbing death? The answers lay not just in her bones, but in the world she lived in. 4. The pathological evidence. Fast forward to modern times, and we have tools that Gaston Maspero could only dream of. CT scans, DNA analysis, forensic reconstructions, you name it. Scientists got their hands on the screaming woman mummy and ran every test they could think of. And what they found? Well, it wasn't a curse or foul play, but something far more tragic and human. It turns out that the screaming woman mummy likely died of a heart attack. Yep, just like millions of people today. She had a cardiovascular event that claimed her life. But here's where it gets interesting. Because her body was not embalmed immediately after death, rigor mortis set in. Her muscles contracted, causing her mouth to fall open and her body to twist into that horrifying pose. This wasn't a scream of terror, but the natural result of dying suddenly and being left unattended for too long. When the embalmers finally got to her, they probably didn't dare to force her mouth shut, either out of respect or fear of damaging the body. So she was mummified as she was found, frozen in a grimace that would haunt future generations. 5. The identity of the screaming woman. Alright, we've solved the mystery of the scream, but who was this woman? Her identity is another puzzle that took years to piece together. Initially, she was thought to be a royal, perhaps one of the many lesser-known wives or daughters of a pharaoh. But recent research points to someone far more intriguing. Pentuer, the disgraced son of Pharaoh Ramses III. Pentuer was involved in the infamous harem conspiracy, a plot to assassinate his father and seize the throne. The conspiracy was foiled, and Pentuer was sentenced to death, likely forced to take his own life. His punishment was so severe that he was denied a proper burial, at least by royal standards. The body was hastily mummified and buried in an unmarked tomb, left to face the afterlife in a state of eternal unrest. But hold on, Pentuer was a man, right? Yes, but there's a twist. Some scholars believe that the screaming woman mummy might actually be the body of Pentuer, misidentified over the years due to the degradation of the remains. If true, it would explain the hasty burial and the fact that his death was anything but peaceful. If the mummy is indeed Pentuer, the scream might be symbolic, a representation of his tortured soul, condemned for treason against his own father. 6. The final piece of the puzzle. In recent years, genetic testing has offered new insights. Comparing the DNA of the Screaming Woman mummy with other royal mummies from the same period has revealed familial connections. While the evidence is not conclusive, it strongly suggests that this mummy was indeed someone of high status, possibly linked to Ramses III. The fact that she, or he, was buried in such an undignified manner further supports the theory that this was someone who had fallen from grace. But let's not forget the biggest clue. The embalmers who worked on this mummy clearly knew they were handling a controversial figure. The care with which the body was prepared, despite the lack of traditional royal honors, suggests a blend of respect and fear. It's almost as if they were trying to preserve the body as best they could, knowing that history would one day demand answers. And that's the chilling tale of the Screaming Mummy finally unraveled. What do you think about the story of the Screaming Mummy? Do you believe there's still more to the mystery? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with anyone who loves a good mystery. Your support helps us keep bringing these incredible stories to life. Thanks for watching, and until next time.